This is the Pythonic Accountant, and today we're going to explore some of the various personas that generative AI can potentially take on to help out accountants. So in my latest Substack post, I talked about how GenAI really can have multiple personas when you think about using it in the world of accounting. Some of the personas I discussed are data analysis expert, compliance and risk strategist, advisory assistant, coach, and technology innovation architect. And I did my last video on using it as an audit work paper coach, which is one example of the coach persona. Today, we're going to explore using it as a technology innovation architect. How can we use generative AI to identify and implement new GenAI solutions to streamline business processes and explore new technical frontiers? So lately I've been thinking about how interesting would it be to see how generative AI can help with some of the bookkeeping processes that are done. So we're going to use Claude because I've been really interested in how Claude has been performing for me lately, especially using Claude Opus. And we're just going to explore from a conversational standpoint here. I'm going to say, I'm interested in automating some of the accounting bookkeeping process. What are some ideas you have for using GenAI to enhance the bookkeeping function? And let's just see what Claude comes up with here. So we're using the Opus model, which is their top performing model. So let's see what Claude Opus suggests. Intelligent data extraction. GenAI models can be trained to extract relevant financial data from various sources, such as invoices, receipts, bank statements. We've actually seen some examples we've done of that before, so 100% agree with that one. Automated transaction categorization. This one's really interesting. So learning how to categorize financial transactions based on certain factors like description, amounts, and other attributes to help automate the process of assigning transactions. To me, this is a really big part of bookkeeping, is determining what type of business event a certain activity represents and then what the transaction needs to be recorded based on that business event. Perhaps it's looking at an invoice and understanding what expense account that invoice needs to go to, or what project it's related to, or if there's a ratio of two projects, how does it get allocated between those two? I totally think that this is something GenAI could help to enhance that process. Anomaly detection, that's a good one. So trained to identify unusual patterns or anomalies in financial data, even data quality issues such as duplicate transactions or missing entries. That's really good. Intelligent reconciliations. Ooh, I love that. So let's say a bookkeeper is doing a reconciliation process, either like a cash reconciliation or financial statement reconciliations. Maybe this could be useful in helping to do some intelligent parts of that reconciliation. Forecasting and budgeting, that makes a lot of sense. Automated report generations, that's really big. Chatbot assistance, so integrating chatbots into the bookkeeping process to assist users with common queries, providing guidance on accounting procedures. So this would be really interesting. You could have a chatbot that a bookkeeper could use to get quick questions answered about company policy and procedure or overarching generally accepted accounting principles questions that apply to the company or companies that they are supporting. Intelligent invoice processing. Oh, that's cool. So automating the invoice processing workflow. Compliance and regulatory assistance. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. And intelligent audit support. Oh, that's great. So assisting in the audit process by analyzing large volumes of data, identifying potential risks. So this could be if there's like an internal audit, set of steps that a bookkeeper is responsible for doing. Perhaps they could use GenAI to assist with that. And interesting, let's see what it says. It's important to note that while GenAI can significantly enhance, it should be used in conjunction with human oversight. 100% agree. That's what I am proposing here, not replacing anything. Accounting professionals can leverage GenAI tools to improve efficiency, accuracy, and decision making, but the final responsibility for financial records and compliance still lies within the organization and its finance team. I love that. 100% agree. Would not want anybody to think anything else. Let's take this one step further before we close out this video. Let's go with the automated transaction categorization. Let's just ask it to dig a little further. Let's dig a little more into the automated transaction categorization. Give me some more, I don't know, framework around how you might build a simple GenAI prototype for something like this. Let's just see what it comes up with. So data collection and pre-processing, gathering historical financial transactions, pre-process the data by cleaning and normalizing it. That makes sense. Feature extraction. This is more like a traditional machine learning step where you identify the relevant features associated with those transactions that are going to be important for the computer to understand, such as the description, amount, date, or other available metadata. That makes sense. I would argue other things like project would be important, things like that. Apply techniques like tokenization, lowercase conversion. I don't know if that's as necessary. This is more techniques that are helpful if you're applying natural language processing or traditional machine learning. Splitting the data into training and testing. Yeah, I think that makes sense. If you want to test how well it's performing, you need a training set to sort of, use to train the model, and then a test data set. But if you're not actually training or fine-tuning a model, that's not as critical. Picking the right model makes sense. Model evaluation, testing and inference. Okay, I mean, this is more like broad, big picture. Now, I think it might be interesting to say, let's just do one more question here, and then we can continue on in the next video. Let's say, let's assume you want to just apply straight up GenAI to this. Let's say straight up, not strange. Straight up GenAI to this. Can you write a simple Python application that would take in, let's see, if we're doing categorization, let's say take in a data set of, let's say, invoice information, and we need to apply expense categories to each invoice line item using GenAI. What would that look like? Let's see if we can come up with something here. And I think that could be a reasonable, use case to play around with, to try out. Or if we had, say, a bookkeeper that is getting a bunch of invoices in and they're able to convert it somehow using, one methodology or another into a CSV file, then we would want to apply the categorization to the line items in the CSV file. And just kind of skimming through here, let's take a look at the Python code. So it's using, that's funny. Even though we're using Claude, it's assuming that we're going to use OpenAI, even though I never said OpenAI or ChatGPT. That's just how much is already in the training data around OpenAI. So it's using OpenAI, CSV module, OpenAI API key, the function to categorize the line item. It includes a prompt. So it says categorize the following invoice line item into an expense category, description, and then it's asking for the category. And it doesn't give a list of categories. That could be something that we could do, is give it that list to say, here are the categories you can choose from, and get, have 10, 20, 30, 50 different, expense categories that would probably be based on like a description and an account number, something like that. And then they have the read invoice, so that's loading the CSV file up. And by the way, we could do this with an individual invoice too. It could be a PDF that we scan, or using the image recognition to read the PDF and then categorize it. Different ways to get to the end result here, but I'm just using CSV for now, just kind of as that thought process. And then write categorized data. This is actually writing to a new CSV file, it looks like. And then running the function, running the program. So that's pretty straightforward. Interesting. And it's just kind of talks through what it's doing. So I like it. I think that, maybe for our next video, we'll play around with trying this out, but I suspect that this could be a really interesting and compelling way to add some value to a bookkeeper's role if the bookkeeper spends a decent amount of time having to do that categorization of invoice line items or invoices themselves. Well, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please subscribe and share and click that like button, and we will see you at the next one.